the Honourable Tim Mander, Minister for Housing and Public Works, MPAQ councillors, life members, corporate supporters, apprentices, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We work in an industry in which we can rightly be proud of. All of us here tonight know the importance of plumbing services to our community and the environment. The World Health Organisation declared plumbers the most important frontline health workers around the globe. Plumbers protect the environment by providing safe, fresh water and sanitation through proper management, care, reuse and conservation of natural resources. If we do not alter our historical approaches to water supply expansion, we'll only be able to provide a fraction of the world's water demand in the next few decades. By 2050, the world population is estimated to increase by 3 billion people, with nearly all of this growth expected to be concentrated in urban areas. Within 20 years, the projected demand for water will increase between 40 to 50%. The industry is constantly changing, and as you would be aware, the Queensland plumbing industry is no different. Our industry has different regulators for occupational and contractor licensing. This was the Building Services Authority and the Plumbers and Drainers Licensing Board. In 2010, the Plumbers and Drainers Licensing Board was dissolved by the previous government, but rallying by the Master Plumbers and the Plumbers Union alerted the government to their short-sightedness, and the Plumbing Industry Council was created. It's no secret that plumbers do not like the BSA. That is why MPAQ has been lobbying hard to have plumbing contractors released from the BSA for many years. Following a parliamentary inquiry, it was identified that the BSA required an overhaul, so the government created the Queensland Building and Construction Commission to replace the BSA. Thankfully, the government was committed to cutting red tape as part of their 10-point action plan. The most common question the association hears from its members: is it the BSA renamed? In meetings held with Minister Mander, we posed this question, to which he replied, "If that is the case, then we have failed. The closure of the BSA and the creation of the QBCC looks to be a positive way forward for our industry, but time will tell." MPAQ is concerned about how the QBCC is going to look after plumbers while continuing to protect the health and safety of the community. We have been reassured by the QBCC Commissioner, Steve Griffin, that changes to the industry's licensing regulations will not mean a reduction in industry standards. Currently, the handover of licensing functions from the Plumbing Industry Council to the Queensland Building and Construction Commission is set for mid-September 2014. The licensing, compliance and disciplinary functions relating to plumbing and drainage will be retained as a separate plumbing-specific unit within the QBCC. The Commissioner has stated there will be no watering down of licensing regulations for plumbers and drainers, and the QBCC is going to increase the resources dedicated to compliance audits to detect and punish any unlicensed individuals operating in the industry. The Commissioner's commitment to the plumbing industry has come as a ray of sunshine in what was initially perceived a dark cloud. I believe it is positive to see the QBCC is committed to working with the plumbing industry to ensure a high standard of licensing is maintained. The level of engagement MPAQ has experienced with the Commissioner would indicate this to be true. And thank you for Steve for coming tonight. The government recently released a discussion paper on the review of the Plumbing and Drainage Act. Although the discussion paper included an option in regards to deregulation of the plumbing and drainage industry, MPAQ was quick to challenge the government on inclusion of this option in the discussion paper. MPAQ has been in discussions with the government and has put forward a strong industry consensus against deregulation of our industry. The government has since written to all licensees identifying that deregulation is not something the government supports. Finally, the Master Plumbers Association, together with the Association of Hydraulic Services Consultants, the Institute of Plumbing Inspectors, the Backflow Prevention Association Queensland chapter, will join forces to bring you the 2014 Joint Industry Plumbing Conference. The conference is open to everyone to attend, and on behalf of the committee and the presidents of the 4 associations, I personally would like to invite you to join us at Royal Pines Resort on the Gold Coast on the 13th and 14th of November. To conclude, I would like to acknowledge everyone who has made the effort and nominated for the 2014 awards. Without your participation and involvement, we would not be here tonight. So thank you. Thank you also to our panel of judges, Chris Tritton, Warren Keep, Anthony Freeman, Kent Vickers, Lana Connick, Ernie Kretschmer, and Morgan Way. I would also like to thank the MPAQ team for organising this special event. Lisa, Melissa and Steph, you have done an amazing job putting together this event. And as you can see from the video earlier, all the work that the team has put in. Also, on behalf of the MPAQ Council and members, I extend my sincerest appreciation to all of our fantastic sponsors. And finally, to the winners, congratulations. I hope you all have a fantastic night.
Thank you, Penny. Well said. I would now like to invite tonight's guest speaker, the Honourable Tim Mander, Minister for Housing and Public Works, to the stage. Please make him feel welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much for that. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and it's great to be here this evening at the Plumbing and Gas Industry Awards for 2014. Can I first please acknowledge Kelvin Slade, the President of MPAQ, Penny Corner, the Executive Director, and also I would like to acknowledge Steve Griffin, the Commissioner for the Queensland Building and Construction Commission. Folks, it's good to have awards nights like this. It's good that industry itself recognises the excellence that's occurring in its own sector. And I want to congratulate the winners tonight, those that have made the effort to nominate. And I know, and I've heard already, that the judging process has been very, very difficult, and I look forward to seeing the announcement of winners throughout the night. I want to say briefly that since this government came into power 2.5 years ago, one of our major objectives has been to clean up the economic mess that we inherited and to supercharge the economy. We have now finally got government expenditure under control. We have an economic growth rate which is above 4%, where the rest of the nation averages together 1.7%. 3/4 of the jobs that have been created in Australia over the last 18 months have been created in Queensland. We know that recovery is occurring, we know it's patchy, but we are doing everything that we can do to get out of the way of business to make these things happen. We're also very committed to cutting red tape and streamlining processes, and that's been very evident in your industry with the notifiable works reform, to name one. And I know that there's been some angst about the changes with the QBCC. I know you've had experience and bad experiences before with the BSA, but let me say this is a completely different organisation. We now have a fully professional governance board, people that have been experienced in the industry, setting the strategy for the future and having the authority to do that as well. And we have a commissioner in Steve Griffin who is committed to engaging with industry. And I know that in our talks with Kelvin and with Penny, that initial apprehension to a large degree has been removed as they've engaged with Steve and seen how fair income he is about helping the industry. And the other thing I do want to do tonight, this might be a bit of a theme this week, is to apologise for any thought that you had through that discussion paper that we ever intended to deregulate the industry. We've never intended to do that, and we never will do that. We thoroughly endorse what happens in this sector. As Penny says, it is so easy to take the plumbing industry for granted. When we turn on a tap, when we flush a toilet in this country, I'm incredibly grateful that we have a sector that's so professional and has been doing this work for many, many years. You have great advocates in Kelvin and in Penny. We have an open door policy with them. We have very robust discussions. They have direct access to my office. We have a good relationship, and I look forward to having that relationship continue in the future. So, folks, congratulations again to all those that win their awards tonight, and I hope that you have a very enjoyable evening.